trend line there. We can see and that's this lower trend line. So we can see the very long history of human genome, and has human genome done a lot of good things. Some of the reports that we're hearing is that they are hiring people, as far as they're interviewing people in lots of various different departments that the company is setting up, because they're going to be hiring accountants. We found it in the jobs wanted, and human genomes. Go there and look up the data. And basically, they're doing everything. They've been producing the product for approval, because every day that goes by, someone that's suffering, and that suffering, if there's a treatment, such as they have done everything, the patient benefits, everything is there, well, we were given an extension date. And the approval dates that was set was December 9th. And lots of people have put a big manipulation as far as the financial markets go, and the exchanges, and there's a lot of pro and con as to what this company can follow through in. But as of this date, 12/11, right now, we're seeing increased ownership. We're seeing that the help wanted section in the jobs postings are increasing at a high rate. We know that they've been producing the product and have not let up. And so there's a lot of things involved here that at the end of the day, that extension date is that it was given for March of 2010. And there's a process, and that's the FDA agency. They could at any time issue an approval, because you see, all of these things are going to cost GlaxoSmithKline and human genome money. These things and all these events cost money. And all of the filings and the increased ownership. So all of the events that are happening right now are pointing to a very sound decision that these are the things that we look for in any type of investment. And there's lots of things that go on, MMTs. You got the institutional ownership and what their role is. And you got the agency, you got the FDA, you have the agency, the FDA. Then guess who you have? GlaxoSmithKline has, I'm hearing from MMT David, like 436 job placements that they would like to do. So all of this planning right now with that extension date. So we have the extension date, but all of the progression is moving forward. And why would that progression be moving forward, MMTs? Well, it's quite obvious that something nice is about to happen. And today is a Lupus fundraiser dinner. I think it was $125 a plate. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it's somewhere in that neighborhood. And we're looking for the people who do. One thing that the CEO said at Human Genome, and you can go and look at the video file there on CNBC, he quoted, "No one knows the pricing of this drug. No one knows the pricing of this drug because we haven't released it. But not only that, listen to this. This is very interesting, SMF MMTs. He never did say it. So no one knows it. But here's the important thing. He said no one will go without treatment. So obviously, the good news is that the Lupus Foundation has fundraisers and people who invest, so that when great companies like Human Genome and GlaxoSmithKline can meet all of the FDA, that agency regulatory, yes, they have to meet that with the safety issues, so that when administered to the public, that there is a sliding measurable scale of risk during the treatment process. So we hope that the doctor community works well with the inline patient who has taken these treatments, so that there's a measurability, a risk model as to how they work and what genders, what cross references and different cultural type people, you know, it's all about how the system can, repair itself and how all of that works from the medical part of it. Those are the benefits that human genome is trying to set forth here. And so that end primary goal is accomplished because, in my view, MMTs, the longer that we go, every day that we pass past this date, is that if there isn't any more trials and people, there was 26 people at the panel who gave great testimonial, and they were actually people that were on the drug. And that's when they were at the advisory committee. And let us not forget, MMTs, the advisory committee was 13-2. There was that was a victory, and that was a good day. And then 12-9 is that they needed to review everything, and I don't think they had enough time to review everything, the FDA. So basically, they gave it an extension date. They didn't say any more than that. They did not give a laundry list that you got to do this, 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 and this, because they didn't. They just said extension date, was kept very quiet. And an extension date is a much better phrase because people in the financial part of the world, and they view delay as negative. Well, what they don't realize is that there's a policy and procedures on risk management when it comes to medicine, and all of those things need to be met so that when people are taking the treatments, is that they're safe and they're helping. So as long as human genome has executed that benefit to the lupus community, then we would need an approval right away. Because at the end of the day, outside of the Wall Street and outside of the financial institutions' banking systems, it's all about the treatments. That's what it's really about. When it gets down to humanity, you're saving a life, or you're trying to make that life a better thing through a treatment process, and they have to be approved. Our evidence clearly shows that the history shows that so far, to this very point, that human genome has met all of its endpoints and challenges. And a lot of those questions and a lot of this chart, and the reason why it was down here is because the FDA had already, remember, it's a veteran company. It was trading back over here, human genome. Look, it's way back over here in 1996. Let's blow up some of the chart, and you can see what it was like, if I can get it to blow up. This is what it was like at the 96 breakout lows right here. So human genome goes a long ways, and they've been involved in lots of different things. And yes, they have. So you can see what it was like at the bottoms here of 96, 97, 98, and then 99. And you can see where the lows were. And there was a history behind the company at that time and things that they were in product development with that made these prices do what they did. So it's not like they haven't been around, and it's not like what I'm going to tell the MMTs. My view is if they've done everything correctly and have done all of the things needed, that's good. Because that means that the risk management from the medical side and the financial management, that everyone benefits, but that's those parties. The most important party is the people who have to use the treatment, and that treatment is meeting all its endpoints and safeties, and that their side effects have diminished from the treatment process. It's a very complex drug. It's a 52-year process to current date, and human genome knows that this was a very, very difficult task. And they have quite a history behind the company. And right now, here we are with human genome and the investment community and the FDA agency and everyone involved. And it's reflecting in this monthly price. Here we are to date. So um, we are going to find out tonight what kind of news that the Lupus Foundation, and I don't speak on their behalf and I don't represent them, so I'm making that very clear in this video, but they are an agency that is involved. And so it's going to be nice to see what kind of statement that they will have tonight and the kinds of things that take place. And I believe that part of this dinner is that there's some kind of award system and there's awards being issued and whatnot. You could probably go look on their website, MMTs, and see what it's all about. So that's the history year to date. We have a lot of things that are positive for this approval. And we've taken a very clear look at it all. So what I'm going to do is that this is what this particular tape is about. And it's about the history of it and where it is with the lupus and how that extension is and everyone else's interpretation. From a market standpoint of view, we will be showing how the actual Wall Street people manipulate company price. That will be in a different segment and a different video series for the MMTs, because Wall Street's behavior and the medical community behavior, well, you know, they're two different compartments. And the others can really try to, you know, people invest in these companies, and the companies themselves invest hundreds of millions of dollars in research and development to bring new innovative treatments to our medical community here, right here in the U.S. and globally. So that's the story. That's what we have updated. We have lots of positive events going on right now, and that's the history. Stay tuned for future human genome videos and option pricing market, how they abuse the premiums and how they've been treating the price of the company, and that will be in separate videos.